Hi guys, welcome in today. My name is Marin and I will be doing the session today. Before we get started, I did just want to take a minute to discuss confidentiality. This basically just means that whatever the three of us talk about in this room today will stay in this room. The only time that wouldn't be the case is if one of you mention wanting to harm one of yourself or the other person or others, or if there's abuse or neglect going on. Now, if that were to come up in a session, we will talk about what that will look like then. But for right now, what happens in this room stays in this room. Now, before we get started, I did just want to also mention that I'm not here to tell you guys who is right or who's wrong. I'm not here to take sides. I'm here to simply see, and identify any patterns that might be going on between the two of you that could possibly be contributing to um, the problem and what is essentially like bringing you guys in today. So if that sounds good, I'd like to get started. So Lily, I'd like to start with you. What brings you in today? You
So
guys.
our daughter recently got into a argument at school regarding her a bully who was kind of bullying her, and she resorted in violence to take care of the situation. And we both disagree on that because he sees it more as it was self-defense rather than me seeing it more as she shouldn't have resorted to violence in the first place and could have talked about it with somebody first. So that's where we're kind of button heads, and it's been a real conflict in our marriage.
Okay. And thank you, for sharing that with me. Ian, I'd like to hear from you, um, kind of why you're here today.
Yeah, because like she said, our daughter got into a fight at school, but and she was being bullied. So I mean, I think she was in the right. I think everybody deserves to be able to defend themselves and be safe at home when they have to do so, and not have to feel afraid of the consequences from their own parents.
Lily, I'm curious when you hear Ian say that she was just defending herself and, you know, he doesn't think that she, necessarily deserves to have consequences for that. What's going on in your mind?
I just think more or less like I do think that like she could have taken a high road or talked about it or did anything other than resorting to the violence that she did, because even though she was getting bullied, she didn't bring it up to us, and then she only told us about it until after the violence had occurred. And now she's been suspended from school, and I just think she deserves a consequence for it, but he doesn't believe that she needs the consequence for it, and it kind of makes me feel like I'm not parenting her the right way, or like how he feels like I should be parenting her.
Okay. And Ian, when Lily, you know, says that when don't want to discipline Maddie and she thinks you feel like maybe she's not parenting the right way, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel
Yours.
like my opinion doesn't matter.
Okay.
'Cause, like she didn't ask me if I thought we should discipline her or not. She just wanted to go straight to it. And when I brought up not wanting to, she kind of just said I was wrong and that I was doing things the wrong way. If her not wanting to discipline her makes her a bad parent, or me not wanting to discipline her, then am I a bad parent for it? Like does my do I not get valued as a parent and not have the same role that she has?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I hear both of you. it sounds like you guys really just, want the best for Maddie. You guys are just having a hard time, coming together to figure out how best to parent her together. So today I'd like to um, use structural family therapy to kind of help you guys because in this type of therapy, we really look at dysfunctional patterns that happen within families. And sometimes when we're stuck in these dysfunctional patterns, we get stuck in the same cycles, and it's not necessarily the problem that is the issue per se, but it's how you guys are interacting in the problem, and which just keeps showing up for you guys. And in this case, it sounds like Lily, you want to have maybe a little bit more discipline for Maddie when it comes to her behavior issues at school. And it sounds like Ian, you feel like at the end of the day, Maddie is just protecting herself, and you feel like it's not fair to be so hard on her. And so within this therapy, we really focus on strengthening your guys' communication with each other to have more of a unified front. And we also look at healthy boundary making, which I'm sure you guys have heard of boundaries. And sometimes people think of them as like a wall going up or a way of saying, like, no, I'm not okay with that. But really, in family therapy and structural family therapy, there are kind of rules that help guide how we interact with each other and our expectations to kind of break through those dysfunctional patterns. So the first thing I'm going to have you guys do is something that we call enactment. And what I'm going to have you guys do is I'm going to have you guys think of a recent argument that you guys had, and it can be the one maybe you guys had pertaining to Maddie when Lily wanted to dis discipline her and Ian, you didn't. And I just want you guys to talk to each other as if you guys are alone in a room discussing this, okay? So whenever you're ready, whoever wants to kind of take lead on it.
Um, I feel like we should discipline Maddie more because I'm concerned that us being more lenient towards it, if this were to happen again in the future, she's just gonna resort to violence again and not come to us at all, and we would be not in the know until she gets suspended.
Okay, but if she's being bullied at school and she was obviously scared to go to the administrator, and obviously we did something that made it so she couldn't come to us, wouldn't it be better to show her that there's a brighter side to coming to us? And even though she didn't get to this time, I feel like she took the necessary action to solve her problem.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, she still resorted in punching somebody at school rather than trying to take either like a high road or even trying to speak out and get some help first, but and left that child with a black eye.
What if she did try to speak out though, and she just got bullied more for it?
Okay, but we don't know that.
Okay, but did you ask her?
No, did you?
Well, yeah, I did.
Okay, are you sure? Because
Yeah.
we both didn't know.
Well, I asked her after she punched the kid.
That was after though. We didn't know before.
Okay, well then we must have done something to make it so she couldn't come to us.
I know, but
Okay.
the thing.
So I'm gonna pause you guys. That was really good for me to see how you guys kind of interacted with each other in that argument. And I noticed a few things. I noticed one, Lily, that you your expectations of Maddie might be different than Ian's expectations of Maddie. Because what I heard you say was, I, you know, kind of wanted her to take the high road. And what I heard Ian say was, I expect her to defend herself. And then what I also heard was Ian, you said that you asked Maddie about the situation, what was going on. And then Lily, on the other hand, I heard you say, I didn't feel the need to come to her because she already knows, what she was doing at school was not acceptable. And then lastly, kind of what I noticed was that it seems like you guys aren't seeing eye to eye with how to talk to Maddie together about this. Because Ian, you're going to Maddie to talk to her, but Lily, you aren't. And you guys are also wanting to discipline her in two different ways. So I'd like you guys to think about seeing this in a different frame. Because from my perspective, I don't see one parent cares and one parent doesn't care about Maddie's behavior. What I see is the two of you both care about Maddie and what's best for her. You guys are just struggling to come together to make those decisions with each other. Does that sound fair to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so so one thing that I kind of previously mentioned earlier is that healthy boundary making. And I think if you guys are okay with it, and if this doesn't work for you, that's okay. We can pivot either in this session and come together, come up with a boundary together, or you guys can try it in the next session. You guys come back. If it didn't work, we can, go from there. But I think what you guys could do is the next time, something, Maddie gets in trouble, or you get a call from the school saying she punched a kid, before either of you guys go to Maddie and before you discipline her, Lily, um, you guys need to have at least a 30-minute conversation together of how to approach this with her and use that time to really hear each other out and see if you guys can come up with a way to handle it together. So, and that's not to say this will work or that you guys are still gonna that you guys might still disagree on how to do it, but it will help you guys at least know that before anything happens, you two will have a conversation about it and will handle it moving forward. And in structural family therapy, this is really important too because it also sets a new expectation for Maddie that you guys are handling this together and you guys are on the same united front as to, you know, how how you guys are going to communicate with her when it comes to her behavioral issues in the future. Um, so if that sounds like something you guys are into, then I think that would be a great first boundary to try.
We can try.
Okay. And then so I want to kind of just recap and see where you guys are at, what you're feeling right now about how things are moving in the session.
I mean, I can see in a way like what you mean. And I know we do need to come to an agreement about how we approach our daughter about the situation because I do want her to further um, make her actions better and really think about what she's doing before she does it. Because I just
Right.
want her to go down a bad path and think that certain things are okay because she didn't get disciplined that way. But I can see how Ian thinks that not coming at her so harshly is the best way because then if we come at her too harshly, I don't want her to feel unsafe to talking with us in the future about anything else that might be occurring. But I do think that we still should do some type of discipline. Maybe not super harsh like I was wanting to in the beginning, but at least something so she knows it's wrong and shouldn't be something that doesn't like happens regularly.
Right. And with handling behavioral issues, there's no right or wrong way to do it. And it can be frustrating when you two are not seeing eye to eye and having to make those decisions. So I do want to say I understand the frustration that you guys are having. I hear you. I see you, and I get it. Um, and you know, this isn't to say moving forward that this is gonna solve everything, but really, it's kind of a step process where if we can focus on strengthening your guys' communication and your guys' expectations of how to handle these these challenges moving forward, then we can move on to the next step. Um, so it's kind of, one thing at a time. And with that being said, I am going to give you guys a little homework assignment. I'd like you guys the next time Maddie has a behavior issue. I did say I want you guys to come together, for 15, 30 minutes to just have a discussion as to how you want to handle it. But before that, I'd like you guys to, maybe get a piece of paper, write down how you want to discipline her or not discipline her if that's, how you think it should be handled. But then I want you to think of a compromise. And I want you to write it down under. So when you guys come together and have that conversation, you can pull out the paper and say, well, this is how I want to do it, but I thought of a compromise and this is what I came up with. And see if they're similar. See if you kind of saw the compromise before even talking to the other person. And then, that 15, 30 minutes can really be you guys discussing how you guys are that compromise that you came up with and
Mhm.
see if that works.
Okay.
Okay. And if it doesn't work, it's okay. Not every, little assignment I give or intervention that we do is gonna work best for you, but it's really just kind of like seeing if the shoe fits and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, then we'll try something new in the future. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, I really do. I appreciate you guys coming in today and, taking the effort to show up and, really show me, where you guys are at in this problem you guys are having and wanting to figure it out with each other. So I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Of course.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys. I will see you next week, okay?
All right.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.